Undies on the head, on the head, undies on the head. He was up against Captain Dickhead up front for them. Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? I apologise. And if he didn't, he broke his neck on the landing. He was just a glorious human and I love him so much. Right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Golden Sky. I'm Tom. And that, ladies and gents, was the Italian job. Liverpool are back. Are we? I think, maybe. We might be back. Magnifico, bellissimo, all the Italian words, mamma mia, the mighty Reds are back. A 1-0 win at the San Siro against Inter Milan. Who saw that one coming? Because I didn't, and I bet not a lot of you did either. But Liverpool have somehow won. I am absolutely buzzing. It feels so good to have actually won a game that isn't against shitty West Ham. We can finally celebrate on the ratings, and that's what we're going to do today. These are the player ratings. I hope you do enjoy. We're happy tonight. Let's get these bunch of heroes on the board tonight. And even better is that we only made 2 subs, so I don't even have to ramble about players who played 5 minutes at the end. What a night. It's a cause for celebration. If you're not celebrating, do something to celebrate. I'll talk about my celebrations for that goal a bit later on when we get to it. Wow. God, it feels good to win a game, doesn't it? I mean, I know we won against West Ham just a week ago or whatever, but they were so bad. Inter Milan are supposed to be good. Nobody expected us to win tonight. We've had the worst week ever with Salah and all this nonsense, and now we've won. Flipping hell, does it feel good. Right, before we start with the players, once again, I have to go on about bloody, what is it? What do they call it on Amazon? Goal alert. Worst shit ever. Ban that like you've banned ref cam. That seems to have gone right in the bin, and rightly so. The worst thing ever to be implemented into football. Lasted about 1 week. Watched Humpty Dumpty knock about the pitch, and that's gone in the bin. Put goal alert in the bin. I don't care if Javi Simons has scored a pen against Slavia Prague at all. So that's that. Now, I'd love to say I came up with this one myself as well, but my cousin called Mark Blood Clattenburg, and I think that's hilarious, and I had to share that with you all. I wish I'd have come up with that myself. I haven't. He said he doesn't want to listen to him, and I don't want to listen to him either. The one thing I think when I turn football on is, I hope tonight I get a nice dose of listening to the refs, and tonight was your night for that, if that's what you were after, because they had them on the mics all night long, listening to Mark chat about whether it's a handball, whether it's a penalty, blah, 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 and his stupid Geordie accent. Honestly, Mark, swivel on it, mate. Liverpool have won. You sounded gutted. I'm buzzing. Alisson. He's first up. He's in the net. He is my hero. He made a save at half-time from Lautaro Martinez's header, which was basically Inter Milan's only attack of the whole game, by the way. They were crap, weren't they? What was that all about? Liverpool just dominated them. Are we just sick again all of a sudden? We might be class. I mean, maybe it's a slight overreaction, but I don't think it is. I think we're probably going to win the Champions League and the Prem and the FA Cup and go on to win the treble this season at this point now. Because when Alex saves that header from Lautaro Martinez, they were getting right on top of us. And I was thinking, oh, God, here we go now. They're going to score. And then Martinez has that header. Ali makes a save. Okay, it wasn't a world-class save, but it was a good save. And that's what I want him to do, to make those key saves when we need it. And he didn't have much else to do, did he, all night? Because they were crap. Inter, they were just rubbish. They were sleepy and old and slow. And it was a bit like watching Liverpool. Except Liverpool were ace o'clock. So I'm giving Ali an 8 because it was a crucial save at a crucial time. And I don't often get to give him an 8 at the minute because most of the time the goals just fly into his net and he doesn't touch the ball. So tonight, 8. Happy days. They're going to be generous ratings tonight, guys. Let me tell you that much for free. Because I'm buzzing. Have I mentioned Gomez at right back? I thought he did all right while he played. I think we were better when he came off. He's going to start the weekend, so I understand why he came off. I thought he did fine. Look, it was a little bit boring at times, the game. We were going a little bit delirious downstairs watching it with my family. We had some interesting chats. We spoke about what car you'd have if you could have any car in the world. Personally, I've always wanted a Hummer since I was a little kid. Don't know why. Always wanted one. Big yellow one. Just imagine rocking up. Imagine someone rocks up at your gaff and they're in a Hummer. You wouldn't expect it, would you? So leave in the comments below what you'd have. What car do you think Joe Gomez is? I just think he's like a reliable. He's like a Chevy Trax. I feel like they're reliable. I don't know much about cars, guys, I'll be honest. It's just all reliable at right back there. Just Chevy Trax in it, up and down the wing, dropping you what you need. Took a few long throws. Turns out we're crap at them as well. Who knew? We throw the ball into the box and all our players just look at it like it's a missile or something. Maybe that's why we never head it away when other teams do it to us. Just stare at it like, oh, look at this. Like a bloody kite or something's flying above their heads. Other than that, don't think he had to do too much, really. Clattered someone on the side. I can't remember who it was. Probably the Martinez or probably Thuram. We'll get to him in a second. But yeah, thought he was sound. His sideburns are just getting inexplicably bigger. They are honestly huge. I reckon when he goes to Italy and it gets a little bit more humid over there, they just expand like Monica's hair on Friends. I mean, his sideburns are the stuff of legend. 7 for the sideburns alone. Konate. Oh my god. Let it be known, the world has to be ending. The sky is falling. It's cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Ibrahima Konate played well. I know, guys. He actually played well. And you know what? He nearly scored as well. Because, okay, I think it was a handball. But in another world, it doesn't get given. The rules in the Champions League are just weird, to sum it up. They're just strange. They don't really make a lot of sense. Ekitike, like, punches it straight to Konate. Konate nods it in the net. I thought we'd scored. Ibu was loving it, celebrating like mad. He was into it tonight, Ibu. He really was. And he was fighting all game. He doesn't get his goal, but he fought all game. He actually, he gives away some of his classic Ibrahima Konate fouls. But I thought for the most part, he fought well. And considering he was up against Captain Dickhead up front for them, Marcus Thuram, who just took every opportunity he possibly could to fall on the floor. Honestly, that guy is as bad as Osimhen when we played Galatasaray. All he wanted to do all night was fall on the floor. I don't understand that type of player. It would drive me mad. But then Florian Wirtz did it at our end, and I absolutely loved it. So who am I to talk, really? But Konate was fighting him all night long, his French teammate. I'd like to think that they were having a little bit of French back and forth. God knows what that would sound like. I'll give you a quick impression. Je m'appelle, je vous dis, that's all you're getting. But it probably sounds a bit like that. And I loved it. I loved the fact that he did all right tonight and he didn't cost us anything bad. That's all that matters to me at this point with Konate. If you manage to make it through a game without doing a catastrophic error, I'm happy with that. And I'm going to give him a 7 as a result. Well done, Ibu. We barely had to do any defending because, as I mentioned, Inter Milan were absolutely woeful. Or the mighty Reds just went to Italy, just stomped all over them, just pushed them right into the mud, took the pizza, took the pasta, just lobbed it. Don't want on to that. See you later. Italy. What else have you got to offer me? Who knows? We won, and that's all that matters. Van Dijk next to Konate. He was absolutely snoozing when Martinez had his header, wasn't he? I mean, fast asleep as you can be. As though, so it was like when you're a kid and you can't sleep. So you go to your mum and dad's room and you say, guys, I cannot sleep. I am having the worst night ever. But you may be a little bit more angry than that because you're like a child. And your mum comes into your room and she just basically just says, it's fine. Look, you're going to sleep now. And like that, you're out for the count. It's unbelievable how they do that. They must have special powers, I swear. That was Van Dijk. Van Dijk's mum got on that bloody stupid loudspeaker at the San Siro and said, come on, Virgil, have a little nap now, lad. And he was just napping away. Martinez runs across him, heads the ball, nearly scored. But we're not going to focus on that because, as I mentioned, we actually won the game. So let's be happy for a change and not criticise. Everything else he did good. He made a few really good blocks, especially second half. There was one where Martinez had a half chance on the break and Van Dijk managed to block it. Good to see him not going full Ice Spice, trying to block the ball. She's just released a new song, by the way. Can't say I'm too familiar with Ice Spice's discography, but I did see that she'd released a new song when I went on Spotify today. Haven't listened. I can't remember what it was called. It was like a word that sounded like Tootie. So make of that what you will. Van Dijk, less of Ice Spice, more of Van Dijk, please. A lot of you are probably thinking, what the hell are you talking about right now? If you don't know Ice Spice, Don't get yourself involved. You bet your life's better without it. I don't know how I've got to here, but I have. Van Dijk, 7. He was no better than Konate, was he? But it was just solid. They didn't really attack, guys. They really didn't. Thuram just jumped on the floor all game. Martinez was having a cry, just doing this every 2 seconds. I mean, every 2 seconds. And they brought Bonnie on. Now, come on. Come on. Bonnie. Let's be real. Robbo. Number one thing I can remember him doing, as I've just said his name, is Ali sends him the ball in the last second of the game. We're basically through, and Robbo controls it out of play. Not ideal. Did it matter? No, not at all. Do I care? Even less. I'm not arsed in the slightest, because the mighty Reds have won. Arne Slot might be a genius. Who knows? He might be back. He might be a genius again. I'm ready to flip-flop. I am in absolute flip-flop mode right now. I'll just take any positivity that can get. And if that means watching Robbo William Wallace hit down the line, then I'm happy to watch that all game long. Just for the flower of Scotland, up and down the wing in Italy. Absolutely love it. First 10 minutes, the Martinez literally sent him into the next stratosphere with that tackle. He did a backflip, and I'm convinced for a split second that he became the first human to fly. And if he didn't, he broke his neck on the landing, because he went about 25 feet in the air. Forward roll. Did it hurt him? Did it bollocks? Just put a little bit of Scotch tape on that. That's how they fix every injury in Scotland, by the way. Bit of Scotch tape. Have a pint of Scotch. Just pour that on if you need to. That's like magic spray in Scotland. Just scotch it up. And then crack on with your day, take your golf club out, whack some bushes with it for a bit of fun. That's how you spend your time as a child in Scotland, just causing mayhem. I bet you that's what Robbo was like. Loved it. If you know any more Scottish things, let me know in the comments. Robbo, you guessed it, 7. 7's all around for the defence today, except Ali, who's just a glorious human, and I love him so much. Gravenberch actually played well tonight. Actually good stuff from Gravenberch. And you know what's nice to see? We actually passed the ball into midfield today. Hooray! Liverpool are actually being able to pass the ball into midfield. How many times did we see him get on the ball in the middle and he could turn, he could look to pass it to someone else? It was like this revolutionary new system that we'd worked out where we were actually allowed to have players in the middle of the pitch and pass the ball to them. And mind you, Inter Milan, they weren't exactly, I don't know, the most athletic team in the middle of the pitch. They had Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who his groin just snapped off in the first 5 minutes. And then Mkhitaryan must be at least 49 by now with 16 grandkids. He must be. Seriously, he's knocking about. I'm pretty sure he played the full game as well. And then they have Barella, who I'm convinced he's going bald. Is he going bald or not? Nicolo Barella. I don't know. But Gravenberch is definitely not going bald, and he followed the instructions of our egghead manager tonight to actually stand in the middle of the pitch, receive the ball, and play forwards, and it worked wonders. We actually played some good stuff tonight, and generally, I know I'm being very sarcastic here because we've been terrible and we finally won a game, but we genuinely played well tonight, and oh my god, it was so refreshing to see. At times, a little bit slow, sure, but I think overall, it was a good performance, and Gravenberch was a big part of it. Again, the game itself didn't have many chances in. Gravenberch had a few shots from distance that went nowhere near the net. Honestly, they could have landed in that, what's that famous canal called in Venice? It might be called the Venice Canal. I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, is this the universal sign for a canal? Who knows? But that's where the ball landed. I'm just trying to name famous things in Italy at this point. Gravenberch, other than those shots, was sound, dominated the midfield. I'm going to give him a 7 or an 8. Ooh, let's go 8. I think he was good. McAllister, absolutely loved it at the end. One of my favourite parts of the game, except the goal, was when he gets the ball at the end and you're thinking, welly up the pitch, Macca, and he barely taps it out of play, and you're like, I'm ready to be fuming. Macca, you knob, what have you done that for? And then he goes down with cramp. Oh, it was chef's kiss. Unbelievable. Bon appetit. That's how you do it. That's an absolute lesson in Argentinian shithousery right there. He got cramp. His mate came over, Lautaro. I'll stretch it out for you, Macca, because I know the score here, lad. You are not one bit injured. And I loved it. about 2 minutes before that, he was making a little run on a breakaway. And honestly, he might be the slowest human alive. He genuinely might be. There should be some sort of like football Olympics, right? Where every year they get the players from the Premier League and they do little events, right? It can be, I don't know, who can run the fastest, who can jump the highest. A bit of an Olympics, yeah? And what they should have is they should pick the slowest player from each team and make them have a race. It'd be hilarious. I'm a genius for coming up with these ideas, and Maka would lose. The guy cannot run. However, he was pretty good tonight, except that one moment when the ball came back to him and he wound up for a pass and he just absolutely rocketed the thing out for a goal kick. What was that all about? Do you remember what I'm talking about? He's lining up for it. The ball's coming to him. He's lining up. He's got his body all shaped up like he's going to play a brilliant disguise pass. Watch this, fellas. Watch what I'm going to do here. Wallop. The ball's out of play for a goal kick. Looks at, what do you think of that, guys? Everyone's like, Maka lad, what have you done that for? Yeah. I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he made some good tackles. Made a great sliding tackle right at the end. Just to smash the ball out of play. Competed in there. Won fouls. And that's all we needed. We just needed a bit of battle and a bit of grit. And Maka did that expertly tonight. And so did this man next to him. Curtis Bloody Jones. That's his full name, by the way. And he was top class tonight. Really good. He looks to have gone up a level for me this season. I feel like his influence in the game when he plays has gone up. I feel like he's so often on the ball, but he's becoming a little bit more of a driving force in games rather than someone to just simply pass the ball around. I love the bit in the first period of the game where he's taking on a few of them pensioners in the middle for Inter. Does Mkhitaryan's coming at him? He says, I'll just fly straight past you, lad, no problem. Hit the shot, almost scored. It was like that fella driving the car. I know you've all seen it. The Laffy driving the car and his mates going, hit the park gates, Laffy. That was Jones going past Mkhitaryan, hitting the absolute park gates, hit his shot in the corner. Couldn't quite score. But a good start, and that was really the foundation of his performance. I thought he played well. I thought, again, he always does this, but he used the ball fantastically well. Defensively, spot on. I thought our shape tonight when we were defending was actually pretty solid. Apart from Martinez's header, I never really felt like we were going to concede any goals. That's always a positive. I think he plays that role on the left side of the diamond pretty well. He's got the athleticism, it seems, to run up and down the wing. And the way that we've sort of pressed in it, today at least, was not as a 4-4-2 defensively, but it was almost a 4-3-3 dropping into a 4-5-1, and I think he does that role well, and it means that when Wirtz came on, he didn't have to play as that left midfielder defensively, and that helps us, I think. So enjoyed that performance. That's the boring part of his game, but on the ball, top class. I mean, he really was good, and if it wasn't for the other fella that we're about to get to, he'd probably been our best midfielder tonight. So I'm going to give Jones an 8 or a 9, fellas. You know what? Guys, it's absolutely party time. So let's give him a 9. Why not? Why not? Look, I've been deprived of 9s and 8s and 10s and all this good ratings for weeks. Let me give out a few, you know? You're going to argue with me? Are you going to really come on here and argue with me that Jones was an 8 instead of a 9 tonight? No, you're not. And if you do, then you're a quilt. So, Szoboszlai, you're next up, mate. And this fella, I can only sum that moment up tonight when he gets that penalty. Undies on the head, undies on the head. It was finally undies on the head o'clock. We haven't had undies on the head for many moons, guys. But I tell you what, when the referee, who looks like, what is the name of the fella he looks like? I cannot remember for the life of me. He's an actor. He's in Anchorman, right? But he's the fellow in Anchorman who is like Ron Burgundy's nemesis. He's called something Mantooth. That fella's name, that's what the referee looked like tonight. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you know I'm absolutely spot on. But when that fella, Mantooth, goes to the monitor today and does his little penalty, and then I'm waiting to see who's taking it, who the hell is taking the penalty? Mo Salah's at home, fucking punching his TV out, absolutely fuming because he couldn't take the penalty. And I'm not going to talk about Salah tonight, but I just wanted to throw that in there. And then I see beautiful, beautiful Dom Sabo with his ninja haircut, with the ball in his hands. I knew where the ball was going. I knew it was going to that left side. It always goes there, and the keepers never save it. I love that he took the pen. His influence, his goals, his assists, they're just growing and growing and growing in the team. At the minute, he looks by far like the next captain of Liverpool, if you ask me, when Van Dijk inevitably goes in a few years. What a player again, but not just a goal, not just a penalty, not just affording me a priceless, much wanted undies on the head moment. And if you don't know undies on the head, if you're a new viewer and you're thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? Guys, just get to know. When good things happen, undies go on the head. That's the only way to celebrate things like this. And when Szoboszlai tucks that penalty away, it's the only appropriate response. But not just the penalty, like I said, his overall performance tonight. This fella is a freak. In the best way. The type of freak that, like, not that you make fun of, not that you should ever make fun of anybody, by the way, but, like, he's like a good freak. He's like the freaks who are on them World's Strongest Men shows who can pull trucks with their teeth or pick weights up with their ears and stuff like that. He could go on and just run just endlessly. That fella who ran all the way across Africa, Szoboszlai's done that about 14 times, I reckon, just tonight alone in the distance he covered on that pitch. I mean, he is unbelievable. He is absolutely unbelievable. And a few of us have been crying out for a diamond all year to get him in that right-hand side. We've never quite deployed it, and it's only really tonight and against Leeds that we've noticed the diamond has intentionally been used, and he is absolutely thriving. I mean, 2 goals in 2 games, yes, one's a penalty, but off the ball, he is probably the best player in the world, and I'd love for you, honestly, to find me a better player off the ball than him. His work rate is astounding. The amount of times he wins the ball back, these are things that don't show up on the face of the stat sheet, this hard yard graft he puts in. And he's done it all season. He never gets subbed. His level is astronomically high every game. And he deserved that goal. He deserved that moment. And Liverpool as a whole tonight really, really dug in. And my dad made a good point, I've got to say, when I'm watching the game. He said, well, it doesn't look like he's lost a dressing room, meaning Slot, because I tell you what, them players on that pitch tonight, they fought like mad tonight for that win. And I agree. And listen, I've been very critical of Slot recently, and I think that's warranted. But I don't want Slot to get sacked. I would much rather Slot stay and be a legend at Liverpool. Of course, I don't obviously want Liverpool to be sacking managers. So if Slot can work it out, and tonight can be a building block, and those players are going to fight for him, I'll be absolutely buzzing with that. And Szoboszlai scoring that goal tonight, and all that I've said, the undies on the head, if you don't know what rating he's getting, come on guys, undies on the head, it's only ever going to be a 10, isn't it? It's only ever going to be a 10. I'll tell you what, I was close to doing 10s all round today, so we've not ever had a 10s all round game yet on the Golden Sky, but one might come soon enough. Isak definitely won't be getting a 10 tonight. Only real downside I would say of tonight, and look, he wasn't awful, he wasn't terrible, it wasn't disastrous. I actually like that he got on the ball a little bit more tonight than what we've seen, but the standards aren't high where I'm saying, oh, I'm happy that he touched the ball. If that's where we're saying our £150 million striker is doing okay, but he's actually touching the ball in the game, it's not looking good. But he just looks a little bit, I don't know, it looks a bit like he's playing, right? And he's got he's soaking his clothes, like soaking wet. You know when you try and, like, they're dead heavy and baggy? Have you ever got, like, absolutely soaked? Like, I don't know, maybe someone put the hose on you, or maybe you jumped in the sea and you had all your clothes on, or someone pushed you in a pool, or something like that, right? And then you get out and you try and run, and you're basically wearing the world's best parachute. Honestly, they should not bother with parachutes for people skydiving. They should just get you piss wet through, and then you jump out of a plane, and your wet top and trousers would just naturally break your fall back down to earth. Right, that's how Isak plays at the minute. It's a little bit like he's in slow motion, and I don't really know why. He did a few decent things. He makes a few decent runs, and sometimes our players don't find him because we are very slow. We still very, very much like to let the whole team get back before we start our attack. We do like to do that. Now, the game wasn't at a real high tempo today, so we could afford to do that type of thing and not really have much of a threat on the counter from Inter. However, I don't really want us to see us do that every game. And I'd like to see us maybe find him when he makes those runs, when we're a little bit deeper in our build-up, and play him in. We're not quite on that wavelength with him at the minute, and there was only a few times when he got somewhat in behind the defence. There was one in particular where we had a good move. It came to him, he did a little back heel sort of to Robbo, and Robbo crossed it in, and Bastoni managed to clear it, and McAllister was almost going to pop it in the net. But other than that, he's not quite there, is he, yet? I was disappointed to see him come off, to be honest, but ultimately it did turn out to be the right sub. Because I didn't want to see him come off because we needed a goal, and I don't want to see us bringing our attackers off when we need goals. But it did turn out to be the right decision in the end because we won the game, and Wirtz, when he came on, was more effective. So I'm going to give Isak a 5. I know, it's disappointing to have to drop someone below the standard 6 in tonight's celebratory, victorious win. But them's the breaks, everybody. Ekitike, though, he is continuing to impress week on week on week. Loved the absolute attempt to just pure handball it to Konate. Why not at this point? I mean, we are so down on our luck and everything's going so against us at the minute. Why not try and just see if we can get away with a few handballs? We're in Italy, you know. Maradona was there when he was hand of God in it all over the gaff. Why not give it a try? This was less of a hand of God and more of a sort of arm bump of the ball, let's describe it like that, towards towards Konate, sorry, who headed it in. I think he's unlucky, but it probably was a handball. I think if you take our Liverpool coloured glasses off, we can all agree that was a handball. But if you weren't sure, don't worry, because we had Mark Clattenburg come on and go, "Oh, I can't do Geordie, guys, but I'll try." "Oh, well, I think that's probably going to be disallowed, that one, mate." Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? I apologise to anyone from Newcastle who's watching this, except absolutely psych. No, I don't. You piss me off like mad in the summer. If you're from Newcastle and you support Newcastle, why are you watching? And if you're a Liverpool fan, I do apologise if you just happen to be from Newcastle. And also, if you are from Newcastle and you're a Newcastle fan watching this, I don't really hate you. Thanks for watching. Nevertheless, Ekitike, we've gone way off topic here. We've gone way off topic. He did some good stuff. He did good stuff, didn't he? I mean, he just looks so smooth on the ball. The way he can take it from deep and hold it up. That was something Isak was lacking. His hold up play in the game. At times the ball would come to him and Isak would just be kind of brushed aside or whatever. I mean, the referee was on a jolly up as well. Everything that wasn't a foul, he did give, and everything that was a foul, he didn't give. Isak was unfortunately the victim of that a few times. Ekitike able to hold the ball, use his dribbling ability to sort of carry us forward. That was really good to see. Had a few shots. He had one that Bradley crossed the ball in and he connected with it well. It was blocked, unfortunately, but I love to see the connection on the ball being crisp and smooth. He's really good striker of the ball. I just thought he was really effective tonight, and he was unlucky not to get played through by Wirtz when Wirtz overhit that pass towards the end. Yeah, really enjoyed the performance of Hugo Ekitike up front with Isak. It shows they can play together. And this, honestly, might be the way forward for us, at least in the next month or so. Who knows what's going to happen with Mo Salah, but we know for sure Gakpo's injured for a little while, and Salah's not going to be here past the Brighton game on the weekend. Who knows what will happen in the future, but Isak and Ekitike up front, I want to see it more. Ekitike, 7 tonight. Right. And then we brought Wirtz on. And I was happy to see Wirtz come on. Obviously, I always want to see Wirtz come on. And I thought he was a real positive influence on the game. I think we can absolutely agree with that, guys. First thing he did when he got the ball, he makes a little dart down the line, played it to Robbo, just injected a little bit of pace into the game. And it was what we needed. The game was very, very monotone, methodical for a long time. And not that he really turned it up, several notches, but maybe just one notch, just a little baby notch, just turned it up. And that little baby notch was all we needed to just up the tempo and really crank up the pressure even more and more on Inter Milan. And eventually, we got our reward. And now the reward came in an absolute Oscar-worthy acting job from Florian Wirtz. Now, listen, Bastoni, for a 100% fact, grabs his shirt for way too long and gives him a tug. Undisputable fact. Bad defender from Bastoni. Stumpeg is absolutely crying about it. Now, what definitely didn't happen was it definitely didn't make Florian Wirtz fall over as though he's an actor in a film from the 60s who's just been shot. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and watch a film from the 60s where anybody dies. They fall the most dramatic ways ever. It's hilarious, honestly. Just go and find one and watch it. That was Florian Wirtz tonight. I loved it. Loved the way that as soon as they put the little... I didn't even think it was a penalty. I'd actually forgotten about it. I didn't even consider it in my mind that we might get a penalty. The ball goes out. It cuts to Mantooth from Anchorman, and he's just staring into the abyss like he was all night, like he was for 7 minutes when the first one was getting VAR'd, staring into the abyss while all the players shout at him, listening on his stupid microphone. Possible penalty comes up in the corner. I was rubbing my hands together. I knew what was coming. I knew they were going to give a penalty because they're absolutely clueless. And when it's not a penalty, you can best believe one's coming. And sure enough, it did. And Florian Wirtz won it. My dad goes, does that count as an assist? I think we're clutching at straws maybe a little bit if we're claiming Wirtz assists for that, but it was a positive influence. He could have put Ekitike through for an actual assist. He overhits the pass. I'm going to tactically forget about that. I'm calling it a kill streak. Tactical forget of that one. Erase it from history. Positive influence. Liverpool win the game. It's going to be a 7 for you, Florian Wirtz. And for Conor Bradley, another player coming off the bench making a real difference in a positive way today. I actually thought both substitutions really did help us. Bradley also injected that little extra yard of pace into the game. Added some dynamism on that right wing. I actually liked the way sometimes he was getting the ball and being aggressive, trying to beat his man. Got through at one point, had a shot. It was actually a chance that we created in the game. We've been few and far between with creating chances in games so far this season for the last couple of months. Bradley had one straight at the goalkeeper, but positive play. Put a few good crosses in, like I said already, the one to Ekitike. There was a couple more that he had competing on that right-hand side. He had DiMarco, who I can't tell if DiMarco is bald or has just got his hair dyed really, really blonde in the middle, because he does do that. But my word, let it go, fella. Seriously, let it go. Just go full egghead. Why not? But yeah, good performance from Bradley. Loved it at the end when Sucic is running through and he runs straight into Bradley and Bradley falls over like his legs have been fallen. His legs have fallen off or have been chopped off. And Szoboszlai just came over and whacked him on the head as if to say, well in, mate. That's what we love to see. A bit of time wasting, a bit of gamesmanship because we're finally winning a game. Oh, it feels good. So let's give Bradley also a 7. A lot of 7s tonight. I don't think it was a performance what really made you go, wow. I mean, we are back in action. But Jones, excellent. Gravenberch, really good. Alisson, a key save. Szoboszlai, man of the match again. The key goal, unbelievable performance once again from him. So, that, ladies and gentlemen, is that. They are the player ratings. I really do hope that you did enjoy them. And if you did enjoy them, please do click the like button. Let's get to 20 likes on the video. And also, click that subscribe button as well. We're getting closer and closer to 250. I can smell it in my bones. Can you smell things in your bones? I think I've made that saying up. But if you can also smell it in your bones and you feel like subscribing to Liverpool, what am I talking about? If you feel like subscribing to the channel, click subscribe. Look, I can't hardly talk. I'm so happy. It's late. We've won. Click subscribe, click like, comment away what you think of the players. If you listen on the podcast, thank you very much for doing so. You can also drop a 5-star rating on the podcast. That would really help me out. And also, you can follow the show. That helps as well. I do hope you did enjoy. I will be back later in the week. Unclear when at this point. We only play on Saturday, don't we? So preview will be on Friday. Ratings will be on Saturday. Hopefully, we'll get a tactical video out for this one Wednesday or Thursday. Until then, guys, I'll speak to you in that video. I hope you enjoy the back of this Liverpool win. Make sure you go to work or whatever tomorrow with a smile on your face, because it's been a while. Alright, speak to you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.